So welcome everyone to the beginning of my 2018 NFL Draft Scouting Reports. It's going to be a lot of fun and a lot of debate over the next 2.5 months or so. And I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you are too. And I decided to get us started in a big way and get all of you talking one way or another by kicking this whole thing off by starting with the quarterbacks and starting with the Rosen one, Josh Rosen, or as I call him, the most overrated quarterback prospect in the 2018 NFL Draft. Boom, I said it. Now I get why people look at him and they see something. They see what they believe and allege to be a franchise quarterback. You have all this media hype. He played in a major media market like Los Angeles. He's got decent size for the position at like 6'3.5", 6'4", 210 pounds. He's got enough arm strength to make all the required NFL throws. He doesn't have a hose or a cannon, but he has enough arm, more than enough arm, to get the job done. Dome environment, warm weather environment, cold environment. His arm translates no matter where you play. I get it. He's got great mechanics, smooth, repeatable mechanics, which are very important to have, very refined and advanced compared to other prospects in this draft class. There's no question. He also, I thought, in 2017, improved his mobility. He's never going to be a guy that burns you and beats you consistently with his feet, but I thought his elusiveness within the pocket and his ability to quickly gather himself and escape the pocket and extend plays with his feet was greatly improved in 2017 compared to 2016 and his freshman year in 2015. You look at him, and he kind of, just like I said, he looks the part. And there are elements to his game, combined with the market that he played in, combined with the media hype you've had surrounding this guy for the past 3 seasons, I understand why people are getting caught up in the bullshit. And that's exactly what it is. It's bullshit. Because this dude is massively overrated. No question in my mind. Like, when I see what some of the people say about Josh Rosen and the draft heads say about Josh Rosen, and I see some of the scouting reports about Josh Rosen, I sit there and I ask myself, are we watching the same guy? Am I that wrong? Or are you guys that wrong? Ultimately, somebody is going to be. And I'm going to go with my instinct, and I'm going to go based off of what I've seen. And I may be right, and I may be wrong. But I'm sorry, I think this dude is overrated as shit. His accuracy is inconsistent. He's got some bad misses on short throws that'll give Eli a hard on. Like, talking about how good he is as a pocket passer. If you actually bother to closely watch his games and watch his throws, his ball placement is lacking quite a bit, and his general accuracy is very up and down, very inconsistent. Yes, he will have hot streaks where he can be very on the money. That is true. And then he will have plenty of other stretches where he is off the mark. And they talk about he's the best pocket passer. Well, you know, being a pocket passer is about more than being 6'4", 6'5", and having some arm strength. It's about actually having pocket presence, being able to feel where the rush is coming from, being able to know when to move up and around within the pocket, when to do it, why to do it. And he doesn't consistently. As soon as there's any pressure on him, this dude folds like a house of fucking cards. When I see people say that this guy has great pocket presence, I say, above all else, a lot of this other stuff is subjective. But if you're going to tell me that his pocket presence is great, I should revoke your NFL draft studying card and do it now. Because you're insane. You were absolutely, completely freaking insane. His pocket presence is terrible. Go watch a couple of his games here on YouTube, and I believe you'll come away with the same impression. Take away the fact that people have been telling you for 3 years that he's a potential #1 overall pick. Forget the fact that he's Josh Rosen, he's the Rosen one. Just evaluate him like he's any jamoke quarterback in this draft class and see what the hell type of impression you come away with. His field vision is poor. He locks onto his primary target very consistently. When I hear people talk about how he has field vision and he goes through progressions, occasionally, but he consistently struggles to move his eyes. He consistently locks onto his primary target, and even when he does move off of his primary target, you will find very often that he is very slow with his movement, and even if he does move off of his primary to go to his secondary, to go to his check down or hot read, whatever you want to call it, the simple fact of the matter is the dude's slow to see it and he's slow to react to it. This guy does not have great field vision. And to me, that is typically an important trait for a potential franchise NFL quarterback, especially if they don't have special arm talent. Josh Rosen has good, sometimes very good arm talent that shows up on film, but it doesn't flash special. It's not special. It never will be special. And he most certainly is not going to beat you with his feet or his pinpoint accuracy. So to me, that lack of field vision becomes a major problem. And I've heard a lot of people talk about and seen a lot of people talk about Sam Darnold and his decision-making. And yes, his decision-making is trash. But if his decision-making is trash, then what the hell is Josh Rosen's? He makes all types of bad decisions, especially in the red zone. And I know there are a lot of people that are going to point to the Texas A&M game like this was some type of badge of honor for him, and it meant so many things, and it spoke to so many things about him as a prospect. If anything, it did, and specifically with the negative, the lack of field vision, the inconsistency of accuracy, the lack of pocket presence, and the terrible decision-making. Like, as you watch that game play out in the fourth quarter, there are 2 straight touchdowns that the Bruins score on Rosen touchdown passes. The first one was a bad read and a horrible throw. The defensive back for Texas A&M goes up to get it, and it goes right through his hands, so his receiver happens to be fortunate enough to be there to catch it. It's a touchdown. That's terrible. And then on the next series, they come right back, and UCLA's in position to score, and then here's Josh Rosen, makes a very athletic play to roll out. The problem with this, though, is that the guy that ends up catching the ball in the end zone and scores the touchdown isn't the guy that he was trying to throw to. He didn't even look at that dude. He didn't even see that dude. On 2 straight touchdown passes, he should have had interceptions. He was damn lucky they weren't. So if you're going to talk to me about how bad Sam Darnold's decision-making is and how questionable it could be at times, and it most certainly can be, but then you sit there and cite Josh Rosen's decision-making, talk about how great it is, look at the film, look at the numbers, go blow it if you don't believe me. Not to mention, above all of this, you're talking about a quarterback with already multiple concussions, the shoulder injury in 2016. It's like this dude always finds a way to be hurt. The #1 most important trait for any quarterback to potentially become your franchise guy at the National Football League level is the ability of availability. And Josh Rosen has not demonstrated that ability during his UCLA career. And I'm sorry, it is incredibly risky to take a guy with multiple concussions and a shoulder injury that has missed several games over the past 2 seasons with such an extremely high pick. That's nuts. That is absolutely nuts. You can't be a star if you're not available. You can't be a franchise quarterback if you've got a clipboard on the sidelines because you're not cleared to play. That's just ridiculous. I just can't believe how much Josh Rosen's getting all this smoke pumped up on him. It's insane, and that's not even bringing in all the talk and the rumors about the lack of intangibles, about how he's not the best leader, he's not the best teammate, he's a different type of guy. There's a belief that he has a very entitled opinion, that he's focused on the wrong things. There could be concerns about loving the party life, being an entitled, spoiled, rich brat, and maybe having some recreational goodies. These are a lot of questions. And again, I don't bring these up as questions just to flame on about Josh Rosen. I bring up these questions because they are all valid questions, and frankly, I don't know what the hell everybody's seeing, because the Schleg Daddy is not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. This fits into the category to me of the Sam Bradfords and Blaine Gabberts and Blake Bortles. I feel very similar when it comes to Josh Rosen. There are a couple of attributes to like, but I think the guys absolutely suck. I think about Rosen, and I look at his NFL comparison. It's not a perfect comparison, but it's pretty valid, and I think it's Eli Manning. He looks like the traditional pocket passer, the drop-back, pro-style pocket passer. And a lot of old-school NFL scouts, front office executives, general managers still have a preference for that. They see a guy with a decent arm, just like Eli. Nobody will ever say Eli had a special arm. He occasionally, at big times, made some special throws, but he doesn't have a special arm in terms of accuracy, in terms of pure, raw arm strength. He just has a decent arm. But he looks like a traditional pocket passer. But unlike Eli, he can't stay healthy. You know, Eli was an Iron Man. He had, at one point in time, the longest consecutive games started streak at quarterback by a good margin in the NFL until Ben McAdoo ended that streak. So at least Eli had the ability of availability. Josh Rosen doesn't even have that. But what he does have in common with Eli Manning as well is poor vision and making dumb decisions and just really, really bad throws. I've talked so often about Eli and the 5-yard overthrow to the running back in the flat. Josh Rosen makes those same type of damn throws. He also demonstrates that tendency to lock onto his primary target and just make some really bad, dumb, idiotic decisions. And this reminds me so much of Eli from that 2004 draft class, where Eli, because his last name had Manning on the back of his jersey, and he was Peyton's brother, and Archie was his daddy, you had so many people foolishly, idiotically, without actually watching the film, saying without a shadow of a doubt this was the best quarterback in the 2004 draft class. And if you watched Big Ben at Miami of Ohio, or you watched Phillip Rivers at NC State, you knew that was complete and total crap. The difference was all of the media hype for a couple of seasons around Eli. He was Archie's son. He was Peyton's brother. He was in the SEC. All of that played into Eli's favor. It's a similar thing here with Rosen. You've been talking about him for 3 years. He played for the Bruins in the second biggest media market in the country. The sports talkers, the draft heads have been pumping him full of smoke for years. So people fall under the same trap. And I'm telling you, don't. I don't give a crap what ends up playing out. As I see it right now, Josh Rosen is nothing more than a mid to late 4th round talent on my board. People are going to talk about the different quarterbacks in this class and the flaws that they have. When it comes to big name quarterbacks in this draft class, nobody to me has more flaws spread more across the board than Josh Rosen. I'm just saying. If your team wants to sit there and gamble on a dude that can't stay healthy with all these other flaws, then more power to you, because you'll be right back probably drafting in the same position in 3 years looking for a quarterback, or 4 years because you're wondering what the hell went wrong with Rosen. There's a chance that he could become an average to above average NFL starting quarterback. And maybe in a really good situation with a really good team around him, he can have a playoff run or two, again, similar to Eli. And maybe he steps up in those moments. He makes some big plays. But I'm sorry. To talk about him being the number 1 overall pick, to talk about him being a first-round talent, you people are insane. You're nuts. And I have no shame saying that. And if I'm wrong, well, damn it all, then I'll be wrong. But I don't think I am. And I don't believe I will be. Rosen's the top quarterback in this draft. My ass.